When looking for your favorite tools and supplies for your next flooring job, we have the absolute best place to shop online. Head on over to shagtools.com, the pro's choice for everything from cutters, adhesives, knee pads, shower systems, and more. Shag Tools carries all the premium brands you know and trust. In stock with fast shipping to either you or your job site. And right now, our new customers are going to receive 10% off their initial purchase using the code HUDDLE10. That's right, HUDDLE10 at shagtools.com.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to The Huddle, the #1 podcast in flooring. We are here every week to help you guys gain forward progress in your career. Simply put, we're here to help you win. For all our new viewers, welcome to the team. What's up, everybody?
What's going on,
Good.
brother?
First comment with George. Georgie, he's already commenting. Thank you, Georgie. All right, so this week's topic is next generation encouraging women to choose the trades. With me, as always, Jose and Daniel Gonzalez in their new office in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Preferred Flooring. If you don't know, now you know. We got Rachel with us from TISE, and so we got a really special guest today to kind of guide us in this conversation and help snap us back into reality when one of us dumb dudes says something wrong. Keep us in check. For all of you that didn't make it to TISE, we did a Wi-Fi power hour, the Women in Floor Covering power hour, and we hosted that as the Huddle, and Rachel was instrumental in kind of coordinating all that with our team, and so thank you for that opportunity. We had a great time. It sounded like you guys enjoyed it and had some fun as well.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. It was one of the highlights of the week, for sure.
Good.
I hope I've seen everybody got over their nerves really quick too. I just want to add to that I thought it was really, I get it, but I thought it was pretty humorous how nervous everyone actually was. And it's like, well, what if I say the wrong thing? Well, how's that going to go? And then all of a sudden when it started, it just went.
It did. Everybody did really, really awesome. So real quick shout out to Divergent Adhesives. Mr. Sonny, the Divergent himself, is our sponsor of the day. If you have a tough project that needs a tough adhesive, reach out to Sonny and go over and check out Divergent Adhesives. They also have a really awesome one coat system for moisture mitigation. So if you're dealing with that and your mitigation project does not require a two-part, epoxy mitigation system, give Sonny a call. QR it right here and check out Divergent Adhesives. They are excellent and a great sponsor of the show. So thank you, Divergent, for sponsoring today's episode. All that said, Rachel, tell us a little bit about you and how you kind of got into flooring, what your role at TISE is, all that good jazz.
All right. So first off, I'm the conference manager for TISE. I'm going into my third rendition of the show, so learning something new still every day, which is really exciting for me since I didn't come from the flooring industry. I have worked on previously different shows and events, mostly within conference, and so program planning, and that's kind of how, moving my way through the different industries, whether it be started out in firefighting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. to planning for facilities. So again, using flooring within athletic facilities, parks and rec. So a lot of very different areas, but it's funny the things you carry from one to the next, and you see, the little similarities that are with each industry. So I'm lucky to have been with each.
So what is the and jump in if you guys have a question, but I had one for you. What is the kind of biggest, I don't know, revelation maybe of, or difference would probably be the best way to say it, between previous conferences, and did the flooring industry bring any particular challenges, or is it all about the same? Because you've been from firefighting to flooring. I'm going to use that at some point because we are firefighters in flooring. But what is the biggest differences or revelation or whatever, in that that
Hmm.
progression?
I would say the one of the biggest ones or similarities, I would say, would be, and this topic of today's podcast is a big similarity. Finding the females in, to break that mold and get into the industry. Very similar. Differences are, I would say for me, the biggest ones are the educational differences. A lot of firefighters, EMTs need a lot of credits for continuing education. And a lot of times in flooring, you don't see it as a necessity, which it absolutely is, especially as you get into installation. And, a lot of people don't see that as important or, a top priority. But once they know, how that can progress your career and really escalate your skill, that,
Yeah,
they absolutely see the value.
particularly with the installer. But I mean, manufacturers, you would think this would be like one of their number one objectives.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of surprised me, does it not, you, Daniel, how I mean, they get involved like just enough. It's kind of like the person just kind of dipping their toes into the water, but
Right.
they're
And I
not like
mean, some
three
of them,
point three
some of
point
them do
something
try,
billion
right?
in failures a year.
And some of them do try, and they'll have their own, trainings and stuff like that. But it's like it's one of those things where, like Rachel said, it's just too many people don't see the need. So you can have everything put together, and then still people just not showing up. And I think that may deter them too from just keep doing it. I mean, I know it sucks when you try to set stuff up and then people just don't show up.
Yeah. Well, like Rachel said, I mean, firefighters have CEUs. They have to check the box, or there's other trades, other industries that you have to have a certain amount of educational credits, or you're not gonna be a firefighter next year, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be. And that changing that in industry culture is, kind of falls in line with today's topic as well, about getting women into flooring, removing stereotypes and changing culture. Well, changing the industry culture around needing to be trained and properly educated to apply the products in our industry, and making that way up here on the level of importance, is one of the things us at the Huddle, we tout and teach and preach every week it comes up. So
And what blows my mind, and not surprising to come from you, but is that someone with no installation background just said how important it is to get educated in order to progress your career. Like that portion, those couple of sentences you put together right there, where they don't see how important it is. That, like, I wrote that down because that just blew my mind. Right, like, you see it from watching everybody interact and watching and listening to conversations outside of just the installer network, and you put that together pretty.
yeah, it's pretty funny how that came right out, didn't it?
It's just, yeah, I know. I'm over here smiling like. So you, as a question, so you have no flooring background, yet you came up with that that
she
scenario where,
recognized it. Yeah.
she recognized it's like our own industry can't recognize it that fast, and it's like, people who are 10 years in who still are in denial that education is even needed.
Let
Right.
alone continued education.
Yeah.
It's something. It's a complete mind shift of the industry that needs to happen to acknowledge that or recognize it, or start prioritizing. So
Yeah.
I think it does start from hearing it from other people, but also a lot of times it comes from the top down.
And a little bit of it is having some of the guardrails and systems in place to have that, have there be a system in place that can even make it happen. So, us at the Huddle, we're working hard to be purveyors of that and work towards continuous promotion of the need, and hopefully over time our efforts turn into a requirement, because I think it being a requirement is our ultimate goal, is that and it benefits us as installers. Like if you're a good installer and you're trained, like you don't want to be competing with handymen and two guys in a truck that just started 3 months ago installing floors. But if they can present themselves well, that's who you're competing against, because without a mechanism to really be able to differentiate yourself in education, if you don't double down on that, then you don't have a differentiating factor. It's just you're a good guy and they say they're a good guy, and you're both telling the general contractor or the homeowner, hey, we're both good. It's confusing to the consumer and hard for them to make good decisions on who to have do their flooring projects. So,
Yep. I just got beat out by a volunteer. Actually, I just found out for a nonprofit. They found an affiliate who used to do flooring, but is volunteering their labor to do the install. Substantially
that
cheaper
one's hard to
than
beat.
us. This is like,
Because if
okay.
it all goes wrong, they didn't lose a heck of a lot. So, Rachel, on the topic, as we're talking about encouraging women here, you've been involved with Wi-Fi as I'm assuming even deeper than just setting up for TISE, correct? I mean, you're involved with Wi-Fi on a deeper level. Is that correct?
Yes. I've been on last year, or this past year, I was on there. I was included in the mentorship program, which is one of the super important pieces that as women we need to take advantage of and really get involved with, because that's how you get new people into the industry. Mentorship is just huge. So I was lucky enough to be a mentor this year, and was also included in on a couple of the subcommittees for Wi-Fi. So yeah, getting to know all the people, all the committees, and there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I figured that would set up a good question. Like, what are the biggest hurdles that Wi-Fi and TISE and your role in both of those see for, like, what is the hurdles for women to get into flooring? And to be clear, Wi-Fi is not promoting just installation in flooring, but although, we could use more of that. I mean, the guys here have a sister that everybody knows, Crystal, that is just a fantastic installer, and has an eye for a detail and attention to detail, and cares a lot about her quality. More of that could be you. I mean, we need more of that for sure. But what do you see in your role that's like big hurdles or big, stepping stones for women to get into flooring? Is it, just knowing about it, or is it bigger than that?
I do think it's bigger than that. Honestly, I think I think it's a culmination of, that hurdle of getting into it, not knowing, not having the confidence to get into it, um, but also not having, a lot of people don't see it as, okay, well, it's not something that comes down the family line, as far as, a lot of girls don't grow up watching their mom install floors. Designing, maybe, yeah. But, it's not a lot of, there's not that mentor.
Like generational
facing.
progression from the dad or the uncle to the nephew or son. It's like, yeah, the mom probably wasn't laying floors, and the dad's probably not yanking his little girl out to the field.
Right.
I can attest that my daughter is involved in trade tap, but my son at my flooring company runs one of our locations, and he's a team lead up there. And he's been out in the field and working and doing flooring, like getting his hands dirty since he was 13. My daughter, not so much, right? So yeah, I can see
Right.
that.
So what can we attribute that because of traditional roles? Like I don't want to try to get all like 1950s, 1960s, where the traditional male role, traditional female role, but are we still in a place where now that women are everywhere, are we still in a place where they're getting pushed towards certain portions of each industry still, as far as, like you said, the design, the sales? Or like we're trying to be more inviting on the installation side, right? Because the attention to detail, like Paul had said, that Baby Sister offers is there. And we do know that there is a place for that type of detailed work. Or what are we missing as far as being able to attract women to that portion? I mean, you said there's no big push, right? Like the women aren't adopting the installation because they're not seeing their mother do it, right? We watched our mother work hard, so we adopted hard work, and so did my sister. So it was it was normal. I can see that disconnect that you're talking about, but what are we missing to attract the first generation of women installers who might not have been exposed to construction at all?
I think it does start from that push of getting, I think a lot of women are pushed into those traditional roles, whether it be sales or marketing or design within flooring, until they see that they can do the installation, the estimate, the whatever it may be that isn't a traditional role for them, um, and getting that push from, male colleagues saying, hey, try this out. Hey, I bet you'd be good at this. A lot of people make that first jump into a new piece of their career from somebody saying, hey, you know what? I think you'd be really good at this.
I wonder if there's some if there's any manufacturers watching, if they want to comment. But is there any way to like offer free scholarship to? I know there's scholarships for training in general, but is there any way that the scholarships could be utilized to really attract women? That just posed out there, thrown out into the interwebs to see if any manufacturer wants to chime in on that. But it'd be interesting to me if, because not all, I realize it's not just a funding thing or something. It's like knowing that the opportunity is there. So if you did have a specific program that you could market to and advertise that, hey, if you're a woman looking to get into the trades, or just want a rewarding career that can, support you and your family, consider flooring, and here,
Mhm.
just apply to the scholarship here. It's really low line. Like, do you want to be involved? Yes. And pick your course and go, go claim your scholarship and go to the course.
Right. And I think there's, yes, a lot of getting that new generation or that next generation of um, gals into flooring. It does start at a young age, when they're thinking they're in high school, they're in, getting exposed to a lot more of their next steps or next opportunities for steps. But also, people are changing their careers so much now. They're
Yeah,
changing
it's like every
jobs
3 to 5
more
years or
than.
something. Is that right? Like, it
Hmm.
seems like, I read that somewhere, like, it's every 3 to 5 years and a career change, not just a job. It's like, that's different. It's
Hmm.
like changing complete career path every 3 to 5 or something.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's an opportunity to strike on that with, just because somebody's not in flooring now doesn't mean now is not a good time.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what we always say too, right? Is because people don't look at all the different things that you can do in flooring. They just think, oh, it's just installation, when there's so much more to do than just installing to be part of the industry,
Yep.
and like we, Paul was saying earlier, it almost seems like women are pushed into a sales or administrative role, right? And don't get me wrong, those are needed too. And
They're needed.
there's just so much to do. But I mean, a guy can do the administrative stuff too. Women
Yep.
can install, and it's like how do we get this more balanced, right? And
Yeah, you probably never, because of the generational thing that you mentioned earlier, get to a 50-50 kind of thing, but it would be nice to try to find where the barriers are, and see if there can be some joint effort into, attracting them. I would say that the FCEF, I've noticed on a lot of their stuff, there seems to be a fair representation of
Hmm.
females coming through the at that very introduction level, and so that would kind of harken back to what you said earlier about high school and or college aged, individuals. Like, you got to get in front of them somehow, and the FCEF might be doing that, but I feel like there needs to be possibly a wider acknowledgement, because one of the other things you said was knowledge that it even exists. I mean,
Hmm.
I think we struggle with that as an industry overall, don't you
Yeah.
guys? Like,
Yeah. 100%.
I
Yeah.
mean, even with guys, we're, as an industry, we don't do the best job of saying, hey, this is a career path for you.
I mean, we were in a meeting last week where even we talked about the unions, right? And how we're partnered up with someone else. It's not just the floor layers. It's, oh, we're the painters and floor layers, or we're the carpenters and the floor layers, right? And just looking at the prevailing wage over here to get the rates, it's like you go on there and you can never find the rates. It always has to be a question that's asked. It's like, what do we even pay the guys?
Yeah, like on your wage determination sheets on a
Yeah.
government project, it often doesn't even have like, it'll have painters on there, but it won't have, floor layers. A lot of times we have to do, a, a filing to get what our wage determination is. And then, by the way, it's a very high wage determination most of the time, which is
Yeah.
crazy to me. It's great, but I'm just saying that it's not on there, and then you get it. We did a job last year that the tile guys were at 62 something an hour, for their wage determination. Well, I mean, that's every one
That's
of our
a
tile setters wanted to be on the job, and we pay close to union wages already, but then the prevailing wage was even that plus. So it is, I guess the bottom line is it's a good career, but it's underrepresented in the trades, which is crazy because we've talked about the numbers before. But and you may know this too, Rachel, but Floor Covering Weekly puts out their annual, sales of what the industry's sales were. And I think it's usually around 25-ish, give or take $1 billion annually. What we do over at TradeTap is we then take the average pay that we know across the United States. We'll take all the wages or all the price per square foot that's been paid out for that particular product, average it out, and then we attach that and come up with what the wage value is, what the labor value of that material is. And so that, I think it was 24 numbers, but I think that was like $21 billion, excluding epoxy and excluding natural stone. So suffice to say, our industry is probably 60 billion or more if you took those two. That's a big industry to have this problem.
It's huge, dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We often say on here, we kind of operate almost like a mom pop industry. Did you get that, Phil? That was one of the things I was seeing, if you would say that as going from industry to industry, setting up TISE. Would you say that is the feeling?
There is definitely that mom and pop feel. I know it's changed over the course of, the past decade-ish, but I there definitely is that. And I think that's how it'll always be.
Yeah.
But there is something very there's comfort in that as well.
And it's a bit of family. And I don't say that we're not made up of a bunch of mom pop, so to speak, or small business owners in flooring. I mean, I'm one of them. Daniel and Jose own Preferred Flooring in Grand Rapids, and they're one of them. And so as a industry, though, I feel like if we just we just act as though we don't have to act that way as an industry. It's too big. We got to have better programs and better approaches to labor in particular, because that's one thing. How versed are you in AI? Not necessarily how to use it, but kind of how it's affecting the economy and such. A little bit.
I think I'm well versed, and then something new happens, and I'm not. So.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think I'm well versed, and then next week comes and AI changed again.
Yep.
One of the things, and I've mentioned it on the podcast here plenty of times, but it was last year was the first year that our GDP went up, but our jobs went down. So as a country, and it's just, I mean, it's obvious that it was an AI influenced thing. But one of the things that was really particular in an article I read that was kind of hit me particularly was that the things that aren't going away, people still, even though a lot of this stuff is automated, people are going to still want to have nice things, right? They're going to want to have a nice place, a nice home, a nice finishing, a nice whatever. And so what we do isn't going away just because of all that. What we do is going to become more important. I think what AI is going to bring is a more advanced and more educated purchaser, which is where we should be doubling down on installation talent and our industry, our labor side of our industry. They're going to be able to select materials in a different manner. Like sales, I could see being one of those things that get hit a little hard in the retail industry. Just as this is just my opinion. I have nothing to back this up other than just working through it in my head. But the more and more, and the reason I say that is there's evidence that more and more owners or homeowners or business owners are going to the store already knowing what they want or already having a good idea of what they want. Do you guys think that too?
Oh, it's happening in real time right now. You get a phone call and say, hey, I'd like to get an estimate on my flooring.
This is
what we selected. This is what we want. We were thinking about
10 years ago, dude, that never happened. They may have done a Google search and said, hey, I kind of think this looks cool or that looks cool, but not as
this product in this color, and that's it.
Well, it is
knowing the average prices.
That's another thing, pricing.
Well, the one thing that surprised me was knowing the failures and the troubles that that the industry is having with specific materials. That was the biggest thing. It's like, I really like the color of this SPC, but I really don't want to deal with all the issues that have been going on with it. So this WPC is the closest that I found. And it's like, is somebody like undercover, trying to call me right now? Like trying to do some work? But no, it's real client. Like they're literally walking around with their phone like I do and saying, hey, Chad, what do you think the best flooring is?
Also, we call
this?
Chat GPT Chad over here.
Yeah,
Chad? I like it.
You need to know that. He's not just asking some Chad person.
We named it before naming your AI was the thing.
Yeah, so, and then Chad will spit out all that information and say, hey, these are things to look for. This is and it's awesome that that's happening. And I think that that's something to build on for anybody in the flooring industry.
It shows you where we need to be differentiating ourselves from someone else, and it's our labor ability and our labor quality and our professionalism and things like this. That's where we have the ability to separate ourselves and win work. And that only happens with training, with women coming into flooring and showing that it's not this. I know that who was we talking to? I forget the lady that we were talking to, but she had a woman floor on the podcast. It was around marketing, but she had said something about having a woman come to her house to give her a quote on something. And she was like, I'm a single, it's like a single mom, and I just prefer to have a woman doing my work. And it's such there's so much opportunity around that, just that one thing, that how we can get that to be fulfilled is part of like a great, I think a great passion of us here at the Huddle is like, how do we bring more people in and at the same time require, keep it equitable of not just like you're a woman, so you get the same equality from that standpoint, but like equitable in the way that the training is available, the opportunities are there, and that you can compete with guys as long as you are. And baby sister, I adopted her as baby sister.
Everyone adopted her as baby sister.
Yeah. She's proven
together.
it. Like she's competed on the biggest stage with men. So it's possible for that to be a reality. And so I would love if there was some programs that could make that happen, but still keep the installation quality the main objective.
And I think that's why, the women in flooring and their mentorship program is so key, right? Because we'll be honest, when Crystal competed, baby sister, she did not want to. And it's like, you're ready. Like, I decided. I signed you up already. I already know.
I was going to say, one of you guys signed her up or something, didn't you?
Well, she wasn't signed up at the time that Daniel told her she was, but she was mentally signed up because Daniel did it in his head first and never told her that he didn't.
But you signed her up, right? You
yes.
just kind of signed her up, and at the end of the day, she went and competed and did well.
But sometimes that's what it takes sometimes, and maybe that's the point that we're missing, right? And to get back onto the women and what we're doing to attract them, like Dude, I started thinking about that, and I wrote a couple things down. I was like, most women, by the time they hit middle school, not high school, already know what their colors they're going to have for their wedding. They know what type of lifestyle they want to live. They know what type of career they're going into, right? And maybe that little push that Daniel's talking about, he did with Crystal, is what is needed at some of the younger stages in life, or even some of the older, I guess, to kind of divert some attention to the flooring industry. Maybe they have some hand skills that they don't know they have. Yeah, and
well, that's a good question. In your guys' experience, did Crystal, like, did she have like undiscovered hand skill? Was that a reality for you guys, or was it like
no, we knew how good she was
right out of the gate?
It was so she's pretty competitive too, right? And she grew up with a couple of brothers that were like, ha ha ha, I'm better than you, ha ha ha. So she had to prove something, and having growing up in sports and having that competitive nature naturally helps anyone become better. And you'll find some hand skills if you're competitive and you don't want your big brothers saying, ha ha ha, you can't do this. And so that's what pushes anyone. And yes, she had natural abilities visually and on the technical side with the hand skills, but it's still an ability that you have to practice. You got to hone. Just like,
well, she'd have never known it without. I mean, I guess I don't really know the origin story, so I don't want to hijack it for that. But how did she get in? Was she just following you guys, or how did Crystal get into flooring?
She also started as a temporary. It was like hey, I don't have a job right now. Do you guys need some help? And we were like, yeah. And she was, and then she stuck around, and then she got pregnant, and she was like, all right, I'm going to have a baby, so I'm going to stop doing this, and then I'm going to go work at a gas station. And then I think she pretty much worked up until like month 8 of her pregnancy.
Yeah, well, she stayed an extra week too long because she ended up cutting herself pretty bad after we told her not to come to work.
And then she was like, yeah, I'm going to take this job over here at this gas station. I think she worked there for a couple of days. I don't even know remember if she worked there or not, but she was like, yeah, can I just come back?
Well, she sounds like just like the way most people get into flooring, which is like, oh, I just went to work for my uncle over the weekend, try to earn a couple of extra bucks, and did that for a few weeks, and then now
ended up doing it for 30 years. I've been helping him out for 25 years now.
You know what? And you just made me realize too, and to add to like the mom and pop type nostalgia, if you will, the flexibility of working in this industry, right? Like some roles have more flexibility than others, but if we're a smaller mom and pop shop, there's a lot more flexibility through some aspects here than there would be at a gas station or a fast food or a factory. So that is real, and that's also attractive. That could be used to attract other talent as well. So
yeah, one of the things I just wanted to real quick, Kevin, I'll get you a Huddle t-shirt, brother. We'll get you one of them awesome Huddle t-shirts. I've got a few. Yeah, so when you're doing the setup for TISE and you're involved in that, obviously that's a really big deal. I mean, that's a big show. Is your side of it? So is on the TISE's side when you're setting it up, are you guys, and I mean you guys, are women are they involved in that industry? The event setup seems like something they'd be pretty involved with.
It is, yes. Our team is primarily made up of women, and we're very fortunate to have some of our biggest or our longest employees on the show have been with the show for, 20, 25 years. Like, they are very seasoned, and ingrained in, the TISE surfaces brand, which is a huge benefit for us. But me personally, I've learned so much from them because they've been around flooring so long, and this side of flooring. So here's how things have changed. We're kind of on the outside, but kind of on the outside, kind of on the inside. So we've got like this nice little dichotomy there. But having that role is, it's an interesting thing for us. But
well, it's interesting to know that what we go and enjoy every year is primarily kind of put together by women and assembled and organized, and that's pretty cool.
yeah.
It kind of shows you that there's really no limits. That's the thing. And so it seems to me that knowledge, opportunity, and uh, confidence, and generational progression are the hurdles that we've kind of identified. Like, yeah, you're not taking your little girl to the job site very often. I've seen some videos of little dudes out there with kickers. I don't know that I've seen any videos with little ladies out there with kickers.
What? Oh, I gotta get some of those.
Oh, you got yeah. Well, I mean, if you have them, shoot them to me. But I've seen a few of the videos with, a dad takes his son and gives him a kicker, and he's teaching him how to kick carpet in or what have you. So cute. But that generational progression is probably one. Well, certainly one I had never thought of, and is always going to be there, I think. And so that's just part of the. I wouldn't say it's part of the problem. It just is one of the reasons why the knowledge isn't there, that it's possible to be a flooring installer. I would argue myself that if woman or man, if you can spend just a little time learning how to install before you go to any other portion of the flooring industry, you will be greatly rewarded for that. Like, you'll know things, you'll sell better, you'll estimate better. One of our estimators back in mid 2000s was a female who she was out in the field working with her husband at a subcontracting crew for a few years prior to getting into the estimating field. And she was a better estimator for it, much better estimator for it.
Understanding the process helps a ton.
Yeah.
I will say, from my end, having like going to each of our regional installation competitions, and then being very heavily involved in the on-site competition and putting that together. I think it was right after the first one I went to. I thought, man, I want to know more. I want to do this, and it just got me wanting to learn more. Am I going to? I don't know, but you see that the passion and the perfection and the skill that people have, and you want to be a part of it.
And that's the thing too, right? You don't necessarily have to be hands-on with it and installing, but you're still learning, right? And you're still one of the biggest cheerleaders for the flooring industry. And that's one of the biggest things, is you don't have to be on your hands and knees, but you're still like, you see that need and you're still cheering for it. You're like, I see this, putting my eyes on it. And it's
we got to get it out there more. Even the regionals, get that exposed more. I think we've talked offline about this. The Huddle, like bringing it live and commentating at some regionals would maybe help get some additional exposure to that skill set. And a lot of the like influencer females that do flooring or any of the trades, there's women on there that are, doing drywall and painting and different stuff. But the ones that are in flooring or any of the trades, like I said, they learned it. They got introduced maybe the way that Crystal did, but they love the detail. I see them in tile the most. Like they really love the detail and the artisanship, the artistry that goes into it. And I can't help but think that that's attractive. And we just got to get it out there a little bit more. Like a lot of times my experience, and I have not had the pleasure of like working, tool belt to tool belt with a female in the field, but most of the guys, we want to like just push forward on like all this quantity and all this rah, rah. And that attention to detail comes through if you watch some of these gals online.
Yeah, I think so next week is the Spanish episode of the podcast, and Jorge is supposed to have on Melinda Rodriguez, which is one of the tile influencers, right? She does some amazing work, and like you said, a lot of them primarily are in the tile field when you're talking about the flooring industry, but like you said, there's the drywall or the painters. You don't really see a lot of them in the carpet resilient world like you do everywhere else. And
that might be because tile is it's not one of the things you can hurry up and go. That is true artistry when you start getting into the detailed formats and designs. And
when you're talking about somebody who does artistry work, I mean, Kevin, he could attest to that. I also think that, Jorge and what he does with area rugs and things like that, that is like, we're going to do some stuff with Jorge to help expose what he does, I hope. Because I think females would love that side of things, creating area rugs and learning how to serge them and put them in and all of that stuff and runners and the stuff that Jorge does. Now, none of us want to. I'm thankful that the industry, at least in the commercial world, has the carpet side of the world has went to modular products so much compared to roll goods. I mean, I about broke my back 1,000 times carrying, carpet that doesn't belong on a human shoulder to up 2 flights of stairs. So
just to prove
it's one of those deals that I don't think anybody wants to do that. So. But it does make sense that that's why they're in the tile. And I think the resilient world, you get into flash coving, heat weld, and even just some inlays and all that, you could see that detail and that artistry coming through in those products. And I think perfectly suits a female's demeanor in that.
Especially the welding part. I will say that she did get better at the welding very quickly. And she was coming behind doing all of the welds at one point. And the attention to detail for that was there.
Yeah, so Kevin's talking about promoting regionals now, and Kevin, I think one of the things we're hoping to do with the Huddle is team up with TISE to bring as much exposure as possible to the regional events, and we'll keep you in touch here on the Huddle, let you know how that effort is going. Rollins says, I started to see more women start working in the industry when laminates came out. They were working with their husbands or a boyfriend. So, I have seen a few teams that's even worked for us that are brother, sister, and husband and wife kind of teams. That's interesting. He says when laminates came out, I mean,
they're coming out again.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I guess from an installation standpoint, there's obviously some technical differences between them, but essentially modular, I don't know the biggest category I can put, but like modular wood or modular resilient products is probably the easiest way to say it. But
peel and stick LVT, brother.
Well, and I also know that one other thing that if you watch a lot of the DIY shows, there's a lot of husband and wives in there, and a lot of the representation, women are doing the tile work in the bathrooms and things of this nature. It does seem to be tile pretty heavy, frankly, but it's still flooring. Let's get them in.
The husband and wife dynamic works great because one's design and one is construction.
Well, in some of those, though, the woman is not just designing, which I can appreciate, makes her a better designer. Again, I think that a little bit of installation knowledge and background makes you better at the other parts that you may be good at already, but you can just become phenomenal at it. I gave you the example of my estimator. Her name was Tina, and she was a good estimator, and she, I think, was much better suited because she did install for several years.
I got asked today by the owner of the building who did our color scheme.
There you go.
And I was like,
little does she know it's just what we had on the shelf.
Yeah, with the paint and everything. Yeah.
Well, as we're wrapping up and kind of closing out the topic, I think that, as many eyes as we can get on the opportunities is what we can do here at the Huddle, and TISE continues to do. Show up, go to TISE. If you're a female and you're just even curious, go check it out. Go to TISE. I'll bet you could get a hold of Rachel and get some get into the show. I mean, the show's not expensive to go to. You can get shown around. You get hooked up with Wi-Fi, and they'll take you around and show you all the opportunities. And the opportunities, they span from, everything from design, manufacturing. A lot of women influence what we put in. That's one place where they're pretty heavily represented. They influence what we're installing. So from manufacturing and all the way through into actually putting these beautiful products on the floor. So, check out TISE, and come see us next year at TISE. We're always there, and Wi-Fi is always there. And so it's a great opportunity to kind of explore. What's that?
Said Rachel is for sure going to be there. We were just talking about how you end one show and then it's like, all right, what's happening next year?
All right, let's talk about 27 and 28, and
yeah,
we're constantly thinking in the future.
Let's close it out with that. What is the progression of the show? I'd love to know. As soon as the show's over, are you guys already taking notes during that show? Like, hey, we should do this next year, and taking notes, or how does that
even
all work?
Before we step onto or into Mandalay Bay, we're already planning for 2020 for the next year. So it happens sooner than you think.
I didn't get a survey yet.
It sneaks up on you every year, but it's like, all right, well.
What are some of the key components you guys look for in a successful show?
The energy plays into a successful show. Whether that be manufacturer or exhibitor or attendee energy. If people are engaged and talking and happy, and you can tell, you can just feel a good energy when you step onto a show floor or in the classroom, or even beforehand. I think what we send out has we want to portray good energy and good. It sounds a little woo woo, but it's
nobody wants to go to some somber show, so you got to keep the energy high. Do you guys have a rating at the end of a show or anything like that says this show was a 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10 or whatever?
Yeah, we do actually. We have, so the day after the show, we send out a survey to all attendees, all exhibitors, and on that's what we get our ratings. So this past year we rated very highly over the year prior. So it's always kind of moving up, and that's how it's exciting to see. And you know,
I went the year after COVID when it first opened back up. That was a small, kind of somber feeling show. I'll tell you that.
That's a tough year.
And it was like 114 degrees.
117.
Yeah,
I will say that,
and kind of just it did open up opportunities to have, you know, longer one-on-one conversations, because busy shows you are lucky to talk to somebody you may want to talk to for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it did present some opportunity there, but it was definitely one of them. You could just feel the energy. So it's not woo woo. It's something you can feel when you're at the show. If it's an exciting show, things are happening. We had a wonderful, I enjoyed the show a lot this year. So I'm glad that everybody else seemed to, it sounds like, from your surveys and from what you guys feel.
I was there. I didn't get a survey, and I just thought about the reason why is that those emails that we had were discontinued.
Probably got canceled.
I just thought about that. But no,
so make sure your
right.
email's up to date with TISE.
Yeah. I'll send it to you.
Okay, fair enough.
Beautiful. Well, Rachel, it was a pleasure to have you on today and talk about this topic and kind of help guide us through what you see. You have a lot of visibility in the position that you're in. And I will echo one more time what Jose noticed is it's incredible that you're able to notice one of our biggest deficiencies in our industry right out of the gate like that. And I think it's a call to all of us to make sure that we're doing everything we can to take steps to improve our industry. And that's a big blanket term that means we need to be more professional. We need to be more dependable. We need to be more educated on the installation techniques so that we can execute our projects and our jobs with the utmost of professionalism and quality. And that's what's going to improve our industry's visual from, at least in the commercial world. A lot of times we're looked at as, and this is changing a bit, but, you know, we could be looked at as the lowest trade on the totem pole on some projects. In residential, I don't know how much that plays in, but the few residential jobs I do, the homeowners seem to be much more appreciative of us being there and love the fact that we're improving their home. Commercial, they're like, just get it done and get out of our way.
You were supposed to be done last week. Well, you just hired me yesterday.
You're supposed to be done 2 weeks ago. We just started yesterday. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. Another shout out to Divergent Adhesives. Make sure to give Sunny some love, and Divergent Adhesives, check them out. They got a wonderful adhesive line, and they are there to tackle your hardest projects.
Look, I have
time frames that we were just talking about, that kind of stuff.
A gallon right behind me. I didn't even try and set that up. That's why I moved the thing, because it was like I was just using it yesterday, and then it just stayed there, and it's like perfect place.
Beautiful. Okay, well, thank you guys for all the comments, and if you guys are catching us live, we appreciate you so much for joining us live. It helps with keep the conversation going when you guys are commenting, and we really appreciate that. Like Jorge and Daniel pointed out, next week, if you are a Spanish speaker, please join the Huddle in Espanol for a great conversation. Jorge does a great job of leading that podcast and bringing our Spanish speakers into the fold of the Huddle. Melinda Rodriguez, as you see on the screen here, ceramic tile and stone influencer, will be there with him. So make sure to get in, chime in, and support the Huddle in Spanish. So with that, guys, we're going to close it out this week. We appreciate it. Make sure to give us a like and subscribe. remember that is the fuel to our fire and keeps us going every week. Thank you again, Rachel, for joining us and participating in the huddle. We really love it. I still can't get that to happen on my screen. But we really appreciate your attending today and helping us out with this great conversation.
You bet. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.